and welcome back to another episode of the Process and Automation podcast with the Automation Guys. Yeah, and today we have another ChatGPT episode. So, as you know, ChatGPT is the latest AI tool to take the internet by storm. I think pretty much everyone is using it out there. So I fiddle around with it myself a lot. So, yeah, and it's an intelligent chatbot from OpenAI created, using the company's existing technology, GPT-4. So the bot is also the best language processing AI model available online today. And so what is ChatGPT? Well, we asked ChatGPT about itself, and this is what its response. ChatGPT is a conversational AI language model developed by OpenAI. It was trained on a large corpus of text data to generate human-like text-based on the input provided. It can be used for various NLP. NLP stands for natural language processing. Can be used for various NLP tasks such as question answering, text completion, and conversation generation. So that's what the system says about itself. But in simple terms, ChatGPT, is a chatbot designed to understand human language, generates human-like responses, and engages in that conversation. So it's a tool really that anyone can utilize, and users can input hundreds of questions or requests from a basic query to asking the bot to write a social media post or an article. And it can even act as a recruitment consultant to help with interview preparation or plan your holiday itinerary. So that's quite cool. And there's so many cool prompts out there. I guess when you go through whatever feed on social media, you will find something about ChatGPT and the right questions to ask. So it's still in beta phase, although it's already really cool. Can you imagine how good it might be if it's out of beta? Probably it will always be a beta, but it's already a really compelling tool. OpenAI plans to launch GPT-4 to the wider audience. So currently, was GPT-4 available? This is only for the paying customers of ChatGPT. So it definitely will be even more powerful. And there's some really good comparisons out there. How powerful it is. You see the little dot and how powerful ChatGPT or GPT-4 is, and you see like a huge circle. So that just visualizes the capabilities, I think, quite well. So, Arno.
So the big question is, why is this thing gaining a lot of traction out there? ChatGPT has taken, like you said, Sasha, the world by storm, as users can apply the technology for several use cases that weren't previously available. Obviously, using its natural language processing and machine learning capabilities, ChatGPT can understand effectively hundreds of user requests and provide very, very useful responses. It's also been designed to provide more structured and reliable answers rather than just one-word responses. And again, this ability is part due to the dramatic improvement of AI in general. So users can use the bot to help them write content. The output should obviously not be directly copied and published without review. You have to check these things, but it does provide a very, very strong starting point by summarizing complex information or highlighting new ideas. And what we're seeing is ChatGPT is gaining popularity due to its potential scalability. So, for example, a user could ask for a shopping list, prompting the bot to for cuisine requirements and a budget. I've even seen people putting ingredients together and asking ChatGPT to come up with a recipe. It did come with a health warning to say not all of the recipes ChatGPT produces is edible, which is quite funny. But that aside, with all of this advanced language capabilities, ChatGPT can handle large volumes, of these user requests. It's also got an API, and this means it positions itself as a very cost-effective AI solution. It has massive potential for businesses, looking to roll it within their automation products.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, so very exciting. So let's look at a few applications of ChatGPT, generally in sort of in the business area. So what could ChatGPT do? Customer services, for example.
Yeah.
ChatGPT can be used in chatbots or virtual assistants to provide customers, especially if you have that API somewhere plugged in. You can put those things in your systems. And provide customers with quick and accurate responses to their inquiries, allowing businesses to automate customer service and of course because of that, it will reduce the workload of the humans in the customer services departments. The next one, we touched on this already, because it understands text really, really well. It can help us doing content creation. So it can be used to generate social media posts for the business, articles, product description, landing pages. The latest version can even generate whole websites based on an image you can provide. So really, really powerful stuff. Yeah. That definitely can save a lot of time and resources within the business. And then if you create content regularly and a lot of that, it could be nearly on autopilot, and you're saving lots of money and time, which can be applied somewhere else in the business.
Yeah.
So marketing is one thing. As well, where ChatGPT can help, and especially when it comes to personalized marketing, it can really analyze the customer data. And obviously, when you think about your customer, you put some personalization in the emails, and that is really, really powerful if you do it yourself. But if you want to automate that, in the past it wasn't so easy. And with ChatGPT, you can automate those kind of things too. So that obviously helps your business to increase the customer engagement we all need. And very early in the process of marketing, it can help you doing the conversions you need in the business. So that's very, very powerful.
Also, I'll go through a few other ones. So again, these are sort of just general applications inside business. Data analysis is a good one, where you can use it to obviously analyze large volumes of customer feedback, for example. So things like social media posts or customer reviews. And then you could use that to identify patterns and any insights that, can inform you to make better business decisions. Of course, the obvious one is language translation. So you could provide these language translation services to businesses, or perhaps yourself if you operate in multiple countries and you need to communicate, with your customers or even employees who speak different languages. And this can be on the fly sort of translation. I've seen a specific use case where it's automated email translation. So it's no need to copy and paste into Google Translate. The plugin just kind of does that for you. And then, of course, we talk about HR a lot in the podcast, HR scenarios. And I think HR management is a big one as well, where you can automate various HR tasks, such as answering common employee questions, perhaps scheduling job interviews. It could help you to onboard new employees, and even managing employee performance. So if you train your models according to your requirements. These are some of the common HR tasks you can automate. Things like financial analysis, for example, where you could look at financial data and analyze that using ChatGPT, and that provides you insights on, budget optimization, perhaps forecasting, or even things like risk management, specifically financial risk management. Then legal services. So obviously, we're still talking about applications generally inside business. So we're sort of skimming over the different types of disciplines, and you could use ChatGPT to assist in any legal research. That's perhaps document reviews, contracts analysis, things like that can be very useful. And also, you can automate things like drafting of legal documents, such as your contracts, customer agreements, and non-disclosure agreements. So again, sort of a lot of application. I would say these are kind of back office type examples. But again, even if you just look at the last one, where we look at contract management, that in itself can be quite an expensive operation if you have to send contracts to legal counsel. So I can imagine there are some scenarios where this can be very, very useful, especially when contracts are quite standard and you need ChatGPT just to generate them and check them to make sure they're compliant with all within inside your sort of legal parameters and framework.
Yeah, yes, you can hear already. So it really touches every area you can think of in businesses, and let's continue on that a little bit. Education and training is another area. ChatGPT can be used in e-learning platforms, for example, to provide personalized experiences for the students. And it can also be used in employee training programs to provide quick and really interactive training modules. So based on progress and understanding of what's going on. So next one is healthcare. ChatGPT can be used to provide that obviously will be really cool. To provide medical diagnosis and advice. So you have to be careful what is coming out of that, but it can definitely support there very well. Monitor patient progress and provide feedback. So that, I guess, applies to lots of sort of AI tools out there. So they can support there a lot. And then analyzing the medical data and provide insights on areas such as disease prevention and management. So there are some groups out there. They are specializing around that healthcare area, and so we can all benefit from that. Get a quicker analysis, and we don't need humans maybe in the early phases of training those models, but it's already used a lot as well as cancer diagnosis and going through all the images and investment management is another area where ChatGPT can be used to assist in investment management by looking at the market data and come up with some information in real time, sort of suggesting trends and also identifying investment opportunities. Just because of how good the AI can go through the huge amount of data, it can be used for those things really, really well. Portfolio management and all those things, asset allocation, risk management, and diversification. So these things are all coming up in that area.
And I guess just fraud detection is another one where you can again analyze large volumes of data. I mean, you can detect and prevent fraud. So the way it works is it looks at the data and obviously identifies some patterns and anomalies, and when it looks at your transactional data, and obviously look at things like customer behavior, and really sort of provide you those early alerts for suspicious activities. So obviously, within inside the realm of non-fraudulent transactions, I guess the model learns that that's sort of how things should look like, and anything that falls outside of those boundaries, that's stuff that's flagged. And again, that kind of ties in hand with risk management, especially around sort of financial transactions. We talked about financial planning and analysis as well. So, that again sort of ties in with the financial elements of a business. And then earlier you did mention the customer service. So it sort of brings all of these, I guess, these things that's important for a business, perhaps internally, but also customer facing. So it provides you that capability to really, push some of these tasks out to an automated AI machine, and then perhaps design your systems in such a way that humans are still kept in the loop. So you mentioned the healthcare scenario where you provide medical diagnosis and advice. So perhaps, the use case there is to have a sort of an early detection as to what I think perhaps a diagnosis is, but provide reasons why. So a trained clinician can then look over that and still vet that. But it's like we said earlier in the conversation, it's like a starting point, isn't it? To really try and expedite some of these tasks. I did see that, especially around sort of financial planning, risk management, contract management, there are sort of a crowd out there that's very skeptical about this. And there could be various reasons, but I think, like you say, from GPT-3 to 4, it's just massive increases in its accuracy. So once we get to 5, 6, 7, 8, I think this will become a lot more powerful and mainstream. And it's like the age-old saying of when cars were invented, people didn't know how to use it, so they put a horse in front of it to pull it. But you know what I mean? There was a lot of resistance. Steam trains as well. When electric trains and diesel trains were invented, so there's a lot of skepticism. But I think with this, it is a maturing technology. That's why it is sort of out there. A lot of it is beta. A lot of people are folding this into their products as well, which is quite interesting. And it's very topical. A lot of our listeners are asking us about this, specifically on how do you apply this.
Exactly. Yeah.
On this, these examples are quite useful to, to sort of think about its potential, with inside your business. And if you look at unstructured data, turning that into structured data, of course, you can take all of those inputs and then plug that into robotic process automation, for example, or workflow automation. So again, it is just a place to classify information, and then once it's classified and structured, use that then to follow perhaps orchestrated business processes within inside your organization.
Yeah, and the progress is really, really fast, isn't it? So I think in the beginning of the year, everyone started talking about ChatGPT. GPT-3 is out for quite some time. Was bundled in some other tools, but now we are just a couple of months down the line, and the new module is out there and used by millions every day. So I think, the next step will arrive very, very soon, very fast. And then obviously there's lots of competition out there in the market to do all these things, and maybe some specialized tools coming up. We will see specialized, similar like just looking at sales stuff. One topic which is really really specific we could look at, and it's a very very popular topic. How can maybe AI in automation help in sales?
Yeah.
As one example. So lead scoring pops up here in my mind. So you can use ChatGPT to analyze the customer data you have and provide a score indicating how likely is that prospect to turn into a customer. So obviously you see there's a lot of signals, email clicks, and
it's always a difficult thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and this can help your sales teams to look at the leads in a certain priority and focus just your efforts on those with a high score, and then get rid of the ones in the low score, and let automation then kick in again and nurture them further. So we talked about this personalization element before, specifically in sales. We could provide personalized product and service recommendations to customers based on their preferences. Currently, salespeople have to do all that manually. Sure, you have marketing suite, but you have to configure it so it gets very complicated. And if you have an AI or that system, ChatGPT, plugged into it to do all these things itself, that would be amazing. And obviously sales support, you can really see that real-time customer data. You see the purchase order straight away. You can act on it, see the customer preferences, the feedback, and then let ChatGPT to come up with a very good decisions or suggest decisions how to do better customer service. And of course, it can support in the training of the sales team, and in coaching. Basically can sit there and see what the inputs were and suggest recommendations or recommend how they can improve and become more productive and more effective.
Yeah, and I guess you could also, it can help you with sales forecasting, because you can look at your sales data and, it's going to look at your existing data, and then from a predictability sort of look at your future sales trends and patterns. So again, you can just then, from a sales perspective, look at your strategy and adjust that. And customer retention is obviously important. So you could, again, sort of look at your customer data and look at, customer behaviors, their preferences. And, again, that can really help sales team to identify, the right sort of perhaps products to target the customer with. And also, identify areas where they can improve and develop targeted retention strategies, because obviously that will keep customers engaged. So overall, from a sales perspective, and I think that it's important for us to actually touch on sales, because that is the heartbeat of a business. It does help your sales teams, will help them to increase their productivity, improve the customer engagement, to kind of get to those insights and really grow sales through personalization and real-time sort of ability to look at sort of real-time know your customer insights, and like you mentioned, the sales training and coaching. So sales is sort of one important example. Just another example is legal teams. So if you look at corporate legal departments, if you look at them, historically they have been kind of slow to adopt automation technologies, and sort of the changes of how they work. So with these examples that we've mentioned, and if you bring in sort of robotic process automation and AI and machine learning technologies, this opens up that the ability, for these teams to adopt automations that allow them to execute sometimes things that will take weeks, within a matter of hours or even minutes. So, and again, for years, people thought this technology would replace humans in the workplace because, obviously RPA has been around for a very long time, but instead it is actually helping to redefine all of the, these workplace processes and sort of just making it better. And again, legal teams work is often, quite, manual heavy or mandrolic, and it's heavily focused on language and long-winded written documents. So again, with these latest advancements that we see in AI, and the processing, or the whole sort of the changes to press on with do more with less. ChatGPT has definitely got the potential to reduce the pressure on legal teams by accelerating these sort of manual heavy tasks.
Yeah, so what comes to mind here when you're talking about the legal teams, Arno, is so when really used correctly, ChatGPT can support very specifically in this research area within these legal teams. I think law has lots of data, lots of laws, regulations, compliance elements. So just keeping up with that, I think it's so time consuming. Very often that's down to here and then in some legal cases down to the juniors, isn't it, to go through this vast majority of data, and then now with ChatGPT, that could be so much easier. Document reviews comes into that as well. Yes. So it can look at the contracts and summarize and find certain things and look for certain things, and really support the teams. And of course, predictive analysis is a really cool topic. It can analyze all this legal data. And then provides that insights to help them to make better decisions. So it is an exciting technology. It is not just ChatGPT, as we mentioned. It's just one form of what GPT-4 can do. So there's so many different models out there using OpenAI's GPT-4, so it can generate images and do all sorts of stuff. So really exciting to really apply that in the business. So we have explored how ChatGPT can be used in those areas, from customer service, marketing, finance, and sales, and leveraging the power of AI. ChatGPT can help pretty much every business to become more efficient and therefore reduce costs, and it ultimately helps to improve customer satisfaction. So that's all what we want. Reach out to us on theautomationguys.net. Listen back to other episodes we had on the topic AI and ChatGPT, and we will be back for more episodes. And until then, let's automate it. Unfortunately, that's it again with this episode of the Process in Automation podcast. If you liked this episode, please give us a 5-star rating, and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any upcoming episode. We hope you will tune in next time, and until then, let's automate it.